Hello and welcome. In today's tutorial, we are going to be making this adorable little pocket with a tag in it. And oh, by the way, a gift card will fit perfectly inside the pocket as well. Hi, my name is Julie. This is Stamp with Julie Baum, and you can also find me at my website, stampwithjuliebaum.com. I am so happy that you stopped in today. If you're new and this is the first time you've watched one of my tutorials, welcome. And a big welcome to my return audience. For those of you who have already subscribed and regularly watch, hello, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. At the end of the video, I will be giving 2 announcements, so do stay tuned to the very end of the video. And I also want to remind you that below this video in the description, there is a way to open that box. You actually click on the word more, and then you will find all kinds of information, including my website, the current host code, the products, a shopping list, the dimensions, lots of information. So make sure that you do that as well. So let's get started. The project that we're making today is actually project number 3 from Stamp Club of September 2022. So do look for those other videos. There's a project 1, which is a Halloween themed treat box. There's a video for project 2, which is a fall card that is pretty fast and easy to put together. And then this is project 3. And again, that's for September, Stamp Club of 2022. All right, so we will be using this stamp set called Trees for Sale. Trees for Sale is available in the July to December of 2022 mini catalog. Now, something that I need to tell you, and this could be kind of alarming, the coordinating dies for this stamp set were actually offered as a celebration gift. Now, celebration is over. It was in July and August, and you were able to select the dies that coordinate and expand this stamp set. You were able to select those as a free gift with a purchase. So if you did not do that and have those dies already, there is not a current way to get those dies. So when we get to the die cutting part, you will need to use your paper snips and do some fussy cutting. Okay, man, that was a big surprise, right? It's like you really want to take advantage of the celebration gifts, especially items that might coordinate with something else. Okay, so let me show you this mini pocket envelope die. It looks like this. It is found in the annual catalog, and there are a number of other little adorable dies that come with it. Okay, so there's these as well as this one that we'll be using as well. This is for a little it looks like 2 little donuts, but you'll see what this is for. All right, so that is the mini pocket envelope. This is available. That is what we're using. Let's talk about the materials that you're going to need. So to create the project the way that I have, you're going to need a piece of designer series paper that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. All right, so that is how this piece started out. All right, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. By doing that, you can set the die on there just right, and you have plenty of space, but without just with hardly any waste at all to cut that out. So then once it pops out, you have the cutout shape like this. This is all of the scrap that goes in the trash. There's really not much to save from that piece. Now the name of this paper, let me get that for you. It is, I know it's got the word sweet in it. Let's see here. I'm off camera just because I'm looking for the name of this paper for you. Okay. The name of this 12 by 12 pack of paper is called Sweetest Christmas. and it is in the July to December mini catalog. So there's some really great prints in there. The main colors are Real Red, also Sweet Sorbet, Pool Party, Garden Green. There's the back of one of the prints. Let me show you the back of one of the other ones. This is the one I'm going to be using. And I think it has candy canes. No, this is that same one. One that I'll show you at the end has the backside peeking out a little bit, and it's a different one. So I will show you that. But that is Sweetest Christmas. All right, so the fabulous thing about this project is that this part was die cut. Now, it's not hard at all to make a gift card holder, but it does involve getting your cardstock or your DSP out, making measurements, making score lines, doing the cutting. So all that is eliminated by using this fantastic little die. I know some of the gals at Stamp Club this week were saying how helpful this was going to be at Christmas time, because they give lots of gift cards and you can prepare these little gift card holders quite quickly. All right, so there are 3 score lines. When the die cuts it out, it also makes the score lines for you. How great is that? So I'm going to go ahead and fold on that score line. Then there's a little flap at the bottom, and there is a little flap on the side, and that's it. So simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this together. You have a couple options. I'm going to go ahead and use liquid glue. If you want to use tear and tape, you just need to be super precise, because it's actually a teeny bit wider than your little flap, and so that could be a little bit troublesome. You don't want anything sticky on the inside of this so that your gift card gets hung up. You could totally trim this down the middle, but you're not going to catch me doing that. That sounds like a pain. One other thing that you could do is, if you use score tape by the Score Tape Company, they do have a tear and tape type product. Theirs is called Score Tape, that is 1/8 of an inch wide. So that would work as well. In fact, here, I'll show it to you. So that is not a Stampin' Up tape, but you can see that is half the width. That would work great. And that is from Score Tape. All right. If you're using your liquid glue, it'll work just fine. Be very careful that you don't over glue, because again, you don't want any extra glue squeezing out and being on the inside of this little folder, this little pocket, and creating problems when you slide your tag or your gift card in. All right, that could not be any easier. And there's our pocket. Adorable. All right, so I started to tell you the dimensions. All right, so that DSP piece was 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Then you need a piece of colored cardstock. With the colors I'm using Pool Party, but I will show you a different version, and this piece is red, so you can decide which way you want to do it. So Pool Party or Real Red, and this piece is 2 1/4 by 3 5/8. You need a piece of basic white that measures 2 1/8 by 3 1/2. You need a scrap to cut a vellum circle. I used a circle die from Layering Circles, and this circle measures about less than 2 inches, about 1 7/8 inches, so about that size. It's not super particular. You just want it to fit on there, okay? And then you also need some trim. And so I'm going to show you in the end of the video the iridescent trim, which is beautiful. But if you have been around Stampin' Up! For a while, you might have some of this little soft, sweatery, twisted trim left. I actually had a bolt of this left, and it looks pretty too. So whatever trim you decide, you need about 8 inches. Okay, besides that, all you need is a scrap of basic white to do your stamping and your die cutting. And so I'm going to do a little bit of that for you, but I've done a lot that is prepared just to save on some time. So this is a scrap. You can see I've already cut some of the trees out. What you're going to need to do is stamp 3 of the trees from this stamp set, 1 of each size. Okay, it's kind of like Goldilocks. There's a small, a medium, and a large. And this is a 2-step stamping set. So you're going to be stamping the base of the tree is your first stamp, and then you're going to be stamping the detail of the tree, which is your second stamp right on top of it. Now, when I'm stamping the base, or stamp number 1 of my 2-step, I do want to stamp this ink off onto a scrap piece, so that on my cardstock, I'm going to get a lighter version of garden green, like so. Then with the second image, part 2 of the 2-step stamping, this is the detail of the flower, I'll use full strength from my garden green ink pad right on top of that first stamped image. And there is our lovely 2-step tree. All right, so you will do that for all 3 sizes. This is the large, this is the medium, so you'll stamp this one off and you'll stamp the detail in full strength right on top of it. And then the smallest tree, same steps, ink it up, stamp it off, stamp onto your cardstock, use the detail stamp full strength right on top. And then you will die cut those 3 trees. All right, so you can see here that I have those prepared already. All right, and just to give you an idea, this is what the dies look like. Okay, so I was able to cut those out all at the same time. All right, also on a scrap piece of white cardstock, you'll need to stamp your little trees for sale sign. So in this instance, I'm going to do it in Pool Party. All right, the other style that I'll show you at the end, I did that one in Real Red. So here's this adorable little sign that says trees for sale. You'll want to make sure that you stamp and die cut one of those. So there's that. This is what the die cut looks like, the die looks like. All right, then for your trees, you're actually gonna need the little base of the tree. You know, when you go to a Christmas tree lot and they're standing up on a little wooden crisscross base. So you're going to do that on your scrap as well. And where is that stamp? Here he is. I chose to use soft suede, but again, I stamped it off. Now we need 3 of these, 1 for each tree. So when you do stamp it on your cardstock, ooh, see, that's a perfect color for that. When you do stamp it on your cardstock for die cutting, spread them out a little bit. Don't put them too close together. And here's the reason for that. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love this. If you got the set of dies, that is, there are 3 dies for the bases. So you are actually able to cut those out all at once. You don't have to use the same die, run it through, do it a second time, run it through, okay? You're able to cut those out 1, 2, 3, all at the same time. Okay, now, if you don't have the dies, you'll spend a little bit of time fussy cutting those out. All right, the last piece that we need to die cut is this piece that I mentioned. So I have cut it out of Pool Party, all right? And this die comes with the mini pocket envelope, so you don't have to worry about if you have the dies that go with the Trees for Sale stamp set. Okay, so that is already die cut, and it also has the center line has a score in it, so you're able to fold it quite easily. All right, so there is that little piece. Okay, once you have all your parts, this goes together quite quickly. So the first thing I'm going to do is do some corner rounding on my little tag that's going to slide into the pocket. So I have my pool party cardstock here, and I have a retired punch, 3-way punch. This has a corner rounder on it. If you don't have this punch, you might already have a corner rounder, or I'm sure you can locate one or borrow one, or don't worry about rounding the corners. If you just leave them square, that's fine too. But I'm gonna just pop this into my punch and round the top 2 corners and leave the bottom 2 square. And then of my white tag, I'll do the same step. So I'm going to round the top 2 like so. Okay, now that piece is going to get attached to the tag. The front is getting attached to the back. So let me just go ahead and do that real quickly, and then I'll show you how we finish off this tag. All right, I just used my liquid glue. You could use your Stampin' Seal or tear and tape, whatever you like. So I'm going to line up the bottom and the side edges with somewhat equal margins, and that makes the top look nice as well. Okay, see those rounded edges? Okay, to attach this piece, what I recommend is you pre-fold it like I've done, and we're just going to put some glue on one side of the little circle. All right, so don't put glue on the second side. Then I just hold it kind of at the fold, and I'm going to slide it down over the top edge of my tag. Oh, I keep dropping it. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm going to center it, drop it down so the fold hits the top edge of the tag, and then press it down. So this front part is glued, the back part is not. That way it just gives you a little bit of control if you need to move it around. Okay, so I'm going to press that down real good. Now, let's add the glue to the other circle. This is going to go on the back, like so. Okay, then we can punch our hole, because this gives us a perfect placement. I am going to grab an adhesive remover, which also we don't offer right now. I think you can get these even maybe at the dollar store or on Amazon, just if you have any extra glue that ever squishes out and you don't want it to be tacky. So it looked like I needed to clean that up a little bit. Okay, at this point I can take 1/8 of an inch circle punch, which hopefully you have from a previous catalog, or you may need to locate one. I suppose a regular size hole punch would be okay, but it won't fit quite as nicely as the little 1/8 of an inch one. So I'm going to punch my hole in there. Okay. We're going to put our trim in here. So for this one, I'll use the red retired trim. And on the one that I show you at the end, I'll use a current trim, the iridescent trim. So I need to try to get this through that hole that I just punched. It's a little bit frayed, so let's see if I can do it. Okay, not too shabby. All right, there we go. Like I said, I had a whole spool of this left over, and it's so nice and it's super soft. All right, so I've put it through. Again, I said it about 8 inches is all you'll need. Then you'll hold both tails and you're just going to pull them through and make a knot. So when you do this method, start out tying your knot a little loose, because you want to tighten it up as you get it down towards the tag. See how I'm pressing it down towards the tag as I'm tightening it up? And then it also helps to do one at a time and snug it up without ripping through your tag. All right, so there we have our tag, and I'm going to set that aside. Let's go to the front of our pocket envelope. We're going to glue this little bit of vellum paper, the circle that we created. We're going to glue it down. It just adds a little softness, but without hiding our designer paper. So see, the trees are going to have a nice little backing, but you can still see the paper. It's not like if I had used a solid color cardstock circle, it would cover up my stripes. So vellum paper is a nice addition on this project. Now, your adhesive will show through the vellum. So you want to make sure that you only put the adhesive in areas that are going to be covered by something else. So I'm going to put adhesive down here where my tree will cover it, and a little dab up here where my sign is going to cover it. All right, so a little down here, and that's going to go there, and a little up here. All right, and see, now you'll see why. When that goes down, sometimes you can still see it. So if there was some up here, it would look messy, but we're going to cover up the areas that we just glued. Okay, so our trees are going to go on to the front like this. But before we do that, we need to put the bases on our trees. All right, so let me show you how I do it. You can come up with whatever method works for you, but I'm going to take all 3 trees and flip them over. And I'm going to take my 3 die cut tree bases, or if you had to fussy cut them, I'm so sorry if you had to fussy cut them. And I'm going to get my tear and tape, which is right here in front of me. I must have put it in the drawer when I put away that other tape. Okay, so the way that I do this, I think makes sense and is easy. It's kind of a one-step process. If you don't do it this way, you would need to use a glue dot or some liquid glue and attach the base to the tree. But I'm going to do mine all in one step. So I've got the little bases at the bottom edge of my trees. Okay, like so. And then I probably shouldn't have done these all in a row because I might bump them as I'm taping. We'll see how I do. All right, so I'm going to start with my my tear and tape, and I'm just going to stick it right onto the top of that tree die cut and run it straight up the center of the tree. Oh, I did the smallest one first. I didn't even really need to do the smallest one. Okay, ignore that because we're going to do that one with dimensionals. Okay, but on the large and the medium, that's the process. I can't get this guy right where I want him. There it is. All right, so again, I'm taking my tape and sticking it so that it's attaching my tree base to the tree. Now, I went a little wonky on this one, so I'm going to cut that and add a piece. So instead of 1 step, this one ended up being 2. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's that one. It's all put together. This one we're going to come back to because I want to show you how to do the smallest tree. And now we'll do the large one, which I could have done first since it's larger and the easiest. I left the easiest for last. Okay, so we'll see if I can go straight this time. All right, I've got my base. I'm putting my tape down and run it straight up the center of the tree. Now the tear and tape is super sticky and super strong, so 1 piece is all you need. Had I gone straight, 1 piece would have been enough on this, okay? On your little guy, he's going to be on dimensionals. So what I recommend for that one, we're just going to go right over the tape, it won't matter. But instead of the tear and tape, you're going to take one of your dimensionals and place it right on that joining part where the base meets the tree. And then you're going to take your second one and put it at the top of the small tree. All right, so we have all 3 trees prepared and ready to go onto our project front. All right, so let's release that. You want to be a little bit careful, you know, because you got that little guy hanging on down there. Okay, so this one is going to go over here to the right, and it's covering up all that glue effectively that I put on the vellum paper, just like we wanted. Medium tree. Is going to go way over to the left. And I kind of have those two. You can put your placement wherever you want. I kind of have those two equal, but they're up a little from the bottom. And that gives us room to bring our 3rd tree on the dimensionals down to the bottom like that. I think it's a nice grouping. All right, so peeling the back off of the dimensionals. And in place it goes. Super cute. Now, more than one customer this week commented once they got to actually stamping the trees at how much they loved them. It's kind of hard when you're just looking, you know, at the picture of the tree stamps. Once you actually stamp them, they are really, really nice trees. And then, of course, once they're cut out, they're just so perfect. All right, so I'm going to stick a dimensional on the back of my sign. And we're going to pop it up right here in that area to cover any glue or adhesive that might be showing. That kind of disappeared pretty good. Our liquid glue did. I know for sure a glue dot would show. All right, so there at an angle is our little sign. Super cute. All right, now I want to finish this with a teeny bit of embellishing. So you really have 2 great options. These are both in the July to December mini catalog. One is the adhesive backed stars, and the other is the festive pearls. So right now I'll use the festive pearls. And I think these are described as gold, silver, green, and red. These clearly are a super soft green. If anything, they might be mint macaron. I mean, they are, or soft seafoam. They are so light, but to me, they're kind of a nondescript color, almost just like an iridescent. And watch what happens is when I put them on here near the pool party, they almost look like they are pool party. So they're a good choice. But the silver, the gold, even the red, any of them would look good. I think this little festive pearl pack is a great choice for embellishments for your holiday projects. All right, so I'll use 3. Roughly in a wide triangle. And then let me show you how this neatly tucks down inside. Like so. Super cute. And as I mentioned in the beginning, a gift card will fit in here. So if instead of a tag at all, you could just put the gift card in the decorated envelope, that would be really nice and totally acceptable. But I think now, after doing this project with a tag, because this could be used just as a gift tag, I think I would do both. I think I'd make the tag and stick the gift card in there. You actually have enough wiggle room in this envelope that I'm confident both would fit. I feel like these need to be trimmed a teeny bit as we're finishing up here. And then let me bring in the second sample so you can just see the other color. All right, so this one, nearly everything about it is the same with the exception of a real red ink stamped on my Trees for Sale sign and a real red piece of cardstock and the little circle die. Those are red instead of Pool Party. You can just barely see the other side of this paper. You can see it's a cute candy cane print. And the trim on this one is our iridescent trim, which is available in the July to December mini catalog, and I just think it's super sparkly and pretty. So on this one I chose those adhesive backed stars as my little embellishment and added those. This one has the pearls, and there you have it. So I told you at the beginning of this video that there were a couple things I wanted to tell you. One is that on Saturday, October 1st, that is World Card Making Day. And that really is a thing. And so in honor of World Card Making Day, I, along with a co-host and colleague of mine, Cheryl, are going to be hosting an open house event here at my house. I would love to invite anyone who is local to the Southern California area, just north of San Diego County. I invite you to come to our event. It will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. open house style. We will have stamping projects for you to make. We will also have some take and make packets for you to purchase and take home and make the projects on your own. Aside from that, we are having some door prizes, lots of fun information, signups for classes, and we are featuring a made-by-hand marketplace. And at the marketplace, we will have lots of items for sale. So even if you are not necessarily a crafter, if you like crafty things, but you don't see yourself making these things, and you'd like to just come buy some things, we will have cards, card packets, card kits, and then besides that, we will have small treat projects. We will have some little gift boxes and baskets. We'll have some home decor, all kinds of fun things for you to come and shop in plenty of time before the holidays. So that's number one. Number two, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be offering some Zoom classes. Those will be card or project classes that you can sign up for, and also some mystery stamping classes via Zoom. So if any of that is interesting to you, of course with Zoom you can live anywhere in the country or in the world and connect with me via Zoom for those classes. So if you have some interest, please leave a comment letting me know that you're interested, and the two of us will connect so that we can share the information and I can make sure that you are aware of when those dates are coming, that those Zoom classes are going to start. In the meantime, thank you again for watching, and until next time, happy stamping.